This is video number 2 for section 2.3, function notation with tables and graphs. In this brief video, I just want to talk with you a little bit about how this function notation stuff shows up when you don't have an equation, when all you have is either a table or a graph. Let's take a look at the directions here. It says I've given you here two different linear functions. One of them is called function m, and the other one is called function p. Function m is the one given in a table. It's a sideways table. The top row are the x's, or the inputs. The bottom row are the y's, or the outputs. Notice that in place of y, I've used our new function notation, m of x. Function p, it says, is shown in the graph. So this is a totally different function. These two functions are not related. This is a new function, and I gave it to you as a picture, as a graph. Now, we learned in Chapter 1 how to take tables or graphs of linear functions and create equations out of them, so we could do that, but it's not necessary. The point of this lesson is you can answer these sorts of questions by directly looking at either a table or a graph. In fact, what I would suggest you do is pause the video, try these 4 problems yourself, and then resume it to make sure that you got the right answers. Okay, let's start with part A. Part A says find m of 1. That's how you would say that, m of 1. What does that mean? It means go to function m. Well, function m is the table, so I'm definitely going to be looking up here somewhere. Go to function m and stick 1 into it. You're always needing to ask yourself, what is that 1? Is it an x or is it a y? Is it an input or is it an output? Well, it's in the parentheses. It's in the input slot. So that 1 is an input. In other words, it's an x. I'm being asked, go to this table, find an x value of 1. Here it is right here. This 1 is this 1. And I'm being asked, could you please tell the output that goes with it? Well, obviously, it's written right there in the table. It is a 2. M of 1 is equal to 2. When x is 1, y is 2. That's all that's trying to say. Letter B, find x if m of x equals negative 1. Well, remember, this wording is a little bit different than part A. The negative 1 is not in the slot. That means it's not an x. Another tip-off is I'm being asked to find x. X is what I don't know. What's the negative 1? It's a y. Remember, m of x is interchangeable with y. You are being asked, go to the y information for function m, still in the table, locate negative 1, here it is, and figure out the x that goes with it. Sort of reverse of the last problem. Well, it looks like the x that goes with it is 4. And so my final answer here is x equals 4. Notice even the way the answers are written can change. Here the answer m of 1 equals 2. I don't have an m of something answer because that's not what I was asked to find here in part B. Okay, let's try letter C. Letter C says go to function P. Well, that's not the table. I'm going to be going to the graph now for part C, and it looks like part D as well. So I'm headed up to the graph, and I'm supposed to go to the graph. I'm supposed to stick 0 in, right? It's in the input slot, and I'm supposed to say what comes out. Well, how do I do inputs and outputs on a graph? It's just x's and y's. This 0 is an x. In other words, I'm looking for a spot on this line that is 0 comma something. Well, that's pretty easy to find. That means I didn't go left or right. I only went up or down. The only spot like that is right here. What are the coordinates of that point? 0 comma 5. When 0 goes in, 5 comes out. And so my answer to this problem, P of 0 equals 5. 0 is the x, 5 is the y. Finally, letter D. Again, I'm still on the p function. But I'm not this time given an x. I know that because the problem says find x. I also know that because this 0 is not in the parentheses. It's on the outside. P of x is like y, so I'm basically just being asked, could I find the spot on this graph where there is a y coordinate of 0? That would mean a spot that you get to without having to go up or down. The only spot like that on this line is this spot right here. The coordinates are -4, comma, 0. It's the only place on the line where there is a y value of 0. I was asked to state the x value that goes with that 0, and of course that would be x equals -4. These are the same kinds of problems that we did when we were looking at the equations. I just wanted you to realize that you can work these problems out even if you're simply looking at a table or a graph.